Hello and welcome back to this channel. This is Josh Morris, and today I have something so cool and so powerful, and I'm just so excited to share it with you. This is my number one trading indicator. So if I had a gun to my head and they said you have to pick one indicator that you can only trade with this for the rest of your life, this is the one that I would pick. So if you're here on this channel for Amazon FBA or self-development or anything like unrelated to trading, then I still recommend watching this video just because it's such a powerful life lesson. And if you ever want to learn how to trade the markets, you only need this one indicator, okay? This is the most important indicator, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to spend a little bit of this video talking about why I love this indicator so much and why I think it's so important. So the indicator is the Fibonacci tool, okay? So if you've never heard about this before, or if you have, listen up. This is really powerful. If you haven't already seen, there is a TED Talk about the magic of Fibonacci. It's called The Magic of Fibonacci by Arthur Benjamin or something like that. And something like that. And he talks about how Fibonacci in mathematics is so powerful, but the Fibonacci number works in all of nature, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. 0 and 1, the absolute simplest mathematical numbers. You don't have something and then you do have something. 0 to 1. It's really simple. You have 0, you add 1, you get 1, right? Then you just take every number and you add it to the previous number. So 0 plus 1 is 1, then 1 plus 1, which is the previous number, is 2, and then 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 3 plus 2 is 5, and now you're getting the Fibonacci ratio. So if you actually draw those areas of 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 5, and then 8, you get this spiral that is just increasing in size, and this is a spiral which shows up in nature. From this sequence, the Fibonacci numbers, you get the ratio, which is called the golden ratio, and you get this by dividing each number by its previous number. So 2 divided by 1, it doesn't really work that well for that one, but for all of the bigger numbers, it comes out to about 1.617777, and it goes on. It's one of those infinite numbers like pi, and every single number divided by the previous in a sequence comes out to this 1.618, rounded up to 1.618, which is now called the golden ratio, and this shows up in nature all the time. So where does it show up in nature? Well, first of all, the music track that's been playing on this video is a Fibonacci music track. If you look at this, the way that the keyboard is laid out is a Fibonacci ratio. Even more amazing, Leonardo da Vinci used this in art. You can see it in the Mona Lisa. You can see this in music, in art, in science. If you look at some of the forms in nature, you can see in the spiral of a seahorse, in the spiral of a snail, in the spiral of a flower, or the way the plant comes, or, the spiral of a hurricane. Almost everything, it comes out. Even in music, just in the musical notes, the spiral is showing. From every single fetus, from every living creature, including mammals, it starts as a little Fibonacci spiral, and then going into the galactic, hundreds of millions of light years across, again, the exact same ratio appears. And if you want a really powerful proof of this, just look at your own fist, look at your own hand. Your bones in your fingers are a Fibonacci ratio, right? And if you close your fist, if you ball it up into a fist, that creates a Fibonacci spiral right over here, and the ratios are perfect. And if you don't think this is that amazing, even in the teeth, right? In your teeth, the distance between the two teeth and the height of the teeth is a Fibonacci ratio, and the distance between the next two and the height of the middle is a Fibonacci ratio. It's in our faces. Our entire faces are made up of Fibonacci ratios, and if you look at this article I found online, the golden ratio in the human face, it breaks down everything from the height of the forehead to the nose to the distance over there. That's a Fibonacci ratio. The distance between the ears, the eyes, and the center, that's a Fibonacci. It is everywhere. So, of course, it is in the charts. It's absolutely amazing when this shows up in the market, because the market is simply just humans. The market is made up of people trading between each other. So those human groups form Fibonacci ratios in the way that the price action shows. So the price is moving and it's going up and down and it's going very far up and it's going back, but how far is it going to go? And part of being a trader is all about predicting the markets. So again, if I had a gun to my head and they said you can only pick one indicator, it would be the Fibonacci tool. So I'm going to take you into the charts right now and I'm going to break down the Fibonacci numbers, show them in the charts, and you'll see exactly how they work. If I only use this indicator, you'd see how my trading decisions would have been. So the first chart we're going to look at three charts today. We're going to look at the Apple chart, we're going to look at the Tesla chart, and we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart because we love a bit of Bitcoin on this channel, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to show you these charts. These charts are completely empty and I'm only going to use this tool. So the first thing is you have to know what the Fibonacci ratio tool is trying to do. So it's a Fibonacci retracement tool. The word retracement is really important. And I'll show you in a blank space here, if the market goes down or up, what you should expect. So if the market has just had a big up move, you would draw the Fibonacci ratio retracement from the bottom to the top, and that will tell you how much you think the market is going to retrace. Okay, how much is going to retrace. If the market just did a big down move, right, you would draw the Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, and that will tell you how much the market is going to retrace to the upside. And what we do is we draw little boxes which make this a lot easier to see. When the market is retracing down, we put green boxes, okay? Because that's a buying window, because we're saying the market's going to retrace down to this point and then reverse. So we would buy in those locations. But if the market has just come down and it's retracing back to a high, then you would draw a red reload zone box, okay? And this is saying that the market is screaming back up. It's retracing back to this zone and we think it's going to turn around and reverse. So we want to be short in that location. So that is how you draw it. And actually this really annoys me that some YouTubers do this wrong. I've seen YouTubers draw it like this and then they say that the reload zone is up here and they draw it backwards. So you really have to draw it correctly. It is a retracement tool. It's showing you how much the market is going to retrace. So let me just give you a few examples in the chart. Now the Bitcoin price has gone from the bottom all the way to the top, right? So it's done a big up move. You always wait for a big move before doing it. And by the way, this works on any time frame and we'll show you that. So you draw a retracement tool from the bottom to the top and you draw this as a big green box. Now this is a very, very large green box, but you can see that if you bought anywhere here in this green box, you could have been selling up here and been doing really well. Well, what about after this big down move, right? How much is the market going to retrace after this big down move? Big down move. And you can see the market came so close to this 61.8. Okay, so these are the retracement areas. And I'll show you this on Tesla, and then I'll break down why these are the numbers. So the numbers for Fibonacci are 38.2, 61.8, and 78.6. Okay, so that's 38.2%. And we've broken down Fibonacci into percentages. 38.2. And we call this the first stop. If the market's going to stop anywhere, it will usually stop there. But then there's the 61.8, which is a fraction, I think, of the golden ratio, 1.618, is as a percentage. And then there's the 78.6, which is also a Fibonacci. The 702 is not a Fibonacci. It is just the midpoint between those two main Fibonacci numbers, and I like that because it's called the sweet spot. And I've learned this from Brian Beamish over at The Rational Investor, so shout out to Brian. And this sweet spot is not Fibonacci, but it's right in the sweet spot between those numbers. So it's really, really good to know. So these are the Fibonacci numbers, just the basics. There are more. There's 23.6, I believe, and 88.6, but I don't want to go into too much depth with that. There's also the Gann number, 50 WD Gann had a rule that the market will retrace 50% of the distance in 50% of the time. Perhaps I'll make a different video on that because I really want to focus on my number one indicator. So let's look at Tesla, right? There's a few areas of Tesla. You can see this Tesla chart is absolutely bonkers and it seems pretty random. So how would you have got in? Well, let's say for a moment that you got into Tesla when it IPO'd in 2010. You probably didn't, but what if you have done that? And the market came screaming up and you were like, no, I want to buy, right? I want to get into this Tesla thing. So instead of jumping in and buying over here, what you do is you draw your reload zone from the bottom to the top. Remember, on an upswing, you draw it from the bottom to the top to see how far it retraces. We then draw this cute little green box because it will retrace into this box. And look at what happened. If you would have purchased anywhere in this zone, and you can see the market really loves to come revisit this. It came and it revisited over here. It revisited over here, and it revisited over here just for a final swing down before obviously taking off to the upside. So if you would have gotten in any of those locations, you would have been a very, very wealthy person from 2010 onwards, okay? Gun to my head, the only indicator I'm allowed, I would be a wealthy man if I would have used this back in 2010. But what if you missed that, right? You completely missed it, and let's say you came in to the market around about 2016, 6 years later, right? You think you're too late. Well, you've got a nice bottom here, and I'm just picking this bottom, this swing low, just because you got into the market, it swung low and it swung high. So you draw it. Let's get it really exact so you can draw, so we can really see exactly. And you can use the magnet tool, click the magnet to get it just right, and you can see the market retraced down to, or this is the reload zone, okay? So we're going to draw this area as a green box and see if it hit at all, okay? Of course it did. Of course, because it's a retracement tool, it's a law of the universe. I already explained it, right? It's in nature, it's in art, it's in science, it's in math, it's in music, it's in everything. And of course it's in the charts. So the market came up, it would have left you really, really impatient. For 3 years you wouldn't have been able to get into this trade, right? Screaming up and down for years until eventually it came down in 2019 and it came right into this reload zone just below the 78.6, and if you would have bought anywhere in this reload zone, kaboosh, you would have been a very wealthy man going into 2020, or woman, right? Anyone can trade. Now, what if you're coming to this in 2020, okay? You came into this in 2020. Guess what we're going to do? Draw a reload zone from the bottom down here in 2019 to the absolute peak in 2020. We do the same thing, and you draw your reload zone, and this works all the time, non-stop, forever, so you're never too late to use this. And look at that. The market comes screaming back down in 2020 during this massive corona dump that we had, and it gave you the best possible buying opportunity down at the 70, the 702, the 61.8, and maybe it touched the 78.6 depending on how well you draw this, right? Really, really, really powerful trading, okay? Now we could do the same thing and draw it from here. We had a downswing, so how much is the market going to retrace? So down to the bottom, and you can see right now we are in a sort of semi retrace zone. So if you wanted to get short in the market, this wouldn't be the worst location to get short. Personally, I don't like the idea of shorting Tesla just because it's such a good company, it's has such a quality product, and I just feel like they're very, very strong. But it would not surprise me in the slightest if, for example, you draw a Fibonacci zone from this swing low to this swing high. You draw a box in the shapes here, right, the 61.8. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the market has screamed up into this zone, right, it's hit that zone there, and then it comes down and it tests this zone before taking off. That would not shock me in the slightest, okay? And that's because of the power of Fibonacci's. Now, it's never a guaranteed thing, there's never any guarantees in the market, but I mean, this is a pretty powerful indicator, as you can see. Let's do a few more examples, and then I'll finish off the video, just because I don't want to make this one too long. I just want you to see the power of this, okay? If I draw us from the swing low of 2016 to a swing high of 2018, and we draw a really nice little reload zone box right down here, this is on the Apple stock now, you can see that right in 2018, you had a test of the 61.8 almost exactly, right? If you actually put this on a weekly chart, just so you can see it, just see how exact this got. Let's see, the 61.8 is here at 144, and this candle closed at 148, but it actually it came down to a low of 142. You can see the lows down here, right? If you zoom in, I don't know if I can zoom into that. Yeah, you can see the open, the high, the low, and the close, just so you know what those numbers mean. So if I hover over this candle, you can see the low was 142, the 61.8 was 144, and you would have got the buy of a lifetime. Okay, but what if you missed that, right? What if you missed that completely and it started screaming up here, and you're like, well, I want to get into this trade. How do I get into this trade, Josh? I want to make money from trading. So let me get into this trade. So you draw a reload zone from this swing low to this swing high, just in case you would have come in at this point, you know, late 2000 or early 2019. You're like, I want to get into this trade, man. So you draw your reload zone and you draw these magic boxes, and look what happens. The 61.8 is exactly 170. This candle low was 170.27. Right? If you would have just put your order anywhere around here, you would have gotten really, really good pricing. Now, it came close with that one, but it's never an exact science. Okay, this one looks more like a 38.2. When the markets move faster, it generally only hits the 38.2. You can see right here, I draw this reload zone from this bottom to that high, and it came to around the 38.2. Never quite hit the 61.8. But maybe for another video, I'll show you the power of the 50% ratio. Came and tagged the 50% ratio and then screamed back off. Okay, so this is really powerful. Now, I bet you know what I'm thinking, right? You see this massive run up in 2020. Well, what if you drew your reload zone from the bottom there to the high here in 2020, and you said, I really want to get back into this trade, but I don't know where to set my orders. While you draw your reload zone. Again, gun to my head, absolutely the only indicator that I would ever need. The 61.8 here is sitting at 212, and this candle hit the 212.6. This will hit the 212.99, and this candle hit a 212.61, almost to the penny, literally within 20 cents of a dollar. Absolutely insane how close it is, and the market just bounced off. And again, these percentage increases are very, very high. If you're going to be making money from trading, sorry about my light has just gone out, so hopefully the lighting is still good. You would have made 50% on your money, 50% trade on this. So I don't want to take it too long. The light's gone out. I hope you've learned a lot. You've seen why this is my most powerful indicator. It works both ways in both markets. And let's just use this as an example. You know, this swing high to this swing low. Where is the market going to retrace to? This is a red box now because it's a short reload zone. So you would have gotten short in this area with maybe a 2-to-1. And if you want to learn all about my risk management, then you could do that here. You put your stop above the 78.6. You get a 2-to-1 risk reward, and you would have won on that little trade there. Now, I don't recommend shorting stocks that you really think are going to go up in the long term, but if you really wanted to short a stock, instead of going long over here, you would have actually gone short over here and actually made profit on the downside, and then been able to get in the long position from this reload zone there. So you can see the power of reload zones. It's my absolute favorite trading tool, the number one indicator in my mind. Again, if I had a gun to my head, I only had one indicator to choose for the rest of my life, I would use the Fibonacci retracement tool. This is another reason why I just love trading, because it's a representation of the universe, the music that's played in this video, the nature that surrounds you. Your own human body is represented in the charts, and you can make money from it. Who doesn't want to make money from the laws of nature? So that's it for Fibonacci and my favorite tool on trading. If you want to learn more about self-development, trading, Amazon selling, all the stuff we talk about on this channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, then I'm going to do a reveal of one of my worst trades ever. So smash up the like button and I'll reveal one of my worst trading mistakes I ever made. If we get 50 likes on this video, it's not that much. I usually don't get that much. So 50 likes on this video and I'll reveal my worst trade ever. So thank you so much for watching. This is Josh Morris. Take care and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.